Okay, we've got two different things. One that are the most bet on props over at BetMGM, and the other that is the most bet on anytime touchdown props at BetMGM. This is all Thursday Night Football, of course. Starting with the most bet on props for tonight, Saquon Barkley over 95.5 rushing yards. Surprise, surprise. Jahan Dotson, shit. Over 8.5 receiving yards. I didn't know that everyone caught on. I thought I was the only one that knew. Oh no, now I might have to change the best bet. Crap. George Pickens over 53.5 receiving yards. Jake Ferguson over 33.5 receiving yards. And Dak Prescott over 245.5 passing yards. Those are your most bet on props, according to BetMGM. And I am fading one of these. I will tell you that in my edges of the night. I am fading one of these most bet on props. Most bet on players to score a touchdown. Saquon's minus 185. Jalen Hurts minus 150. Thanks to the tush push. AJ Brown plus 165. CeeDee Lamb plus 140. And everyone's just taking a shot on Philly defense or special teams to score at 5-1. No surprise. No surprise at all. That is your most bet on player props to score a touchdown. J-Main34 said he's going to fade Dak tonight and taking the under on his passing yards. Mark says FanDuel had either team to score one or more rushing touchdown, you mean? Or one or more rushing yard? Yeah, $10 max bet. Remember the days when FanDuel and DraftKings were new and they gave you those? I don't know if you guys remember this. This is when New York was fairly new. It was the NBA playoffs. They let us bet, I forget how much money. I think it was like $25 or $50. And it was one of those things where the more people we got to sign up or bet, buy in to the boost, the more money we got. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a while ago, probably 6 years ago, when we were able to, I forget what it was called. But it was a really cool promo that FanDuel did where I was at Sports Grid at the time. I think it was like $50, and the more people we got to buy in, the more people that, the more people, anyway, I don't know. I'm just being crazy. $10 bet for $20 payout, Mark says. So go take it. Crush the over. So here's why I'm annoyed about the Jahan Dotson thing. I like him over 7.5 receiving yards. Look at his numbers against Dallas. This is dating back to 2022, I think it was. Yeah, 2022. He's averaging 35 receiving yards a game against the Cowboys. At home, averaging just over 16 yards a game, and on the road down to 7. Dallas allowed the 6th most receiving yards to wide receivers last year, 7.9 yards per attempt, which ranked 31st against receivers last year. And because obviously they're going to be so stuck on Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, obviously you're going to be left open with Jahan Dotson. I like it. I'm just now pissed that the public also likes it. So that freaking sucks. These are the Thursday Night Football props that caught my eye today. So I saw someone in the chat say Jake Ferguson. Lewis Creech, there you go. Jake Ferguson under 34.5. It actually was at 40.5 last I checked, which is kind of scary. So I was able to grab under 40.5. 50% profit boost on FanDuel. Jalen Hurts anytime TD and their bonus bets. Jackpot pool. Agreed. This is why I love the chat, by the way. I love the chat because we're all helping each other out with finding these promos. It is hard sometimes to keep track of where all the promos are. And Pickett Sports actually does a great job of telling you where all the promos are. So you can subscribe to Pickett Sports. It's free, and it tells you where all of the promotions are. So go check that out. It is hard to keep track, and there are a lot of promotions today across all the sports books, so make sure to take advantage. What are the odds for the game to be delayed due to weather? I'm not the weatherman. I don't know. If there's lightning, sure, but we'll see. I hope it doesn't rain here in New York. Okay, prop queen props for Thursday Night Football, starting with Jake Ferguson under 40.5 receiving yards. Again, a little nervous because this was 34.5 this morning, and now we're at 40.5, but I'm going to take the under on a better number, I guess. Ferguson, last year against teams that were top 10 against tight ends, went under in 5 of the 7 games that he faced those defenses. Last year against Philly, he had 3 catches for 18 yards and 4 catches for 24. The Eagles last year had the best defense in the league, limiting tight ends to just under 35 receiving yards a game. Only 32% of tight ends went over their receiving yards prop last year against Philly. Jake Ferguson under 40.5 receiving yards. And everybody remember, this is a divisional rivalry. So if we don't hit any of these props today, just remember, it likely means then whatever we bet today is going to happen in game 2. Just keep these props in mind. Whatever doesn't hit today is going to hit in game 2. It's always what happens. Courtney Harden says, it's only supposed to rain for an hour. Hurts over 18.5 completions, 3 out of 14 last season. Where is the bad weather coming from? Must have missed that this morning. The sun's going away fast. Okay, so Jahan Dotson, we talked about already. And then Jalen Hurts over his rushing yards. I feel like no one's really mentioning this today. 39.5. It was 40.5 before. So again, numbers not moving in my favor, but it's week 1. Crazy things happen. Hurts is averaging 50.5 rushing yards at home last year and 33.6 on the road. So it's a big drop off. Hurts likes to run the football a lot more at home. He rushed for 56 last time out against Dallas, and Dallas actually allowed the most rushing yards per game to quarterbacks last year. So if there's a way to take Jalen Hurts, and if it's supposed to not be great weather conditions, then maybe we run the football. Dallas doesn't really have anyone to clog up the middle anymore, Mike Parsons. So I think the Eagles, if they're smart in the first half, they try to attack. They try to attack inside and just try to feast on the part of the Dallas Cowboys defense that they're going to be most sad about. I love a longest reception prop. Love that. Love a longest reception prop. That's my Thursday night football action for tonight. And then, of course, my sharp friends are on the Cowboys. So we'll take that with what you want. Cowboys or Eagles Survivor or Eagles in a teaser. Yeah. So I guess everyone thinks this game could stay within 7, but the Eagles are going to win. We've got Major League Baseball. Pitcher props. Don't worry, I didn't forget about Major League Baseball today. We've got 3 different props for pitcher props today in Major League Baseball. Blake Snell pitching for the Dodgers tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're on the road in Pittsburgh. Game starts in about 50 minutes. Snell has only faced 2 high K rate lineups this year against lefties. He only had 2 strikeouts against Atlanta, but then 8 strikeouts in 5 innings on the road in Tampa. Lefties, out of the 28 lefties to start against Pittsburgh, 20 of them went over. 20 and 8 over under. 20 of the 28 went over their strikeout prop, averaging just under 6 strikeouts a game against the Pirates this year. Blake Snell, 6.5, minus 140. If you could still grab it, go get it. It went up to 7.5 in some spots. So 6.5 minus 140. Tampa's righty, Ryan Papio, over 15.5 outs. They're getting the Guardians in Tampa tonight. Papio went over 15.5 outs in 10 of 14 home games, averaging just under 18 outs per start. Papio's also hit 16 or more outs in 8 of his last 10 home games, going an average of just over 18 outs a start. 77% of righty starters to face Cleveland went over their outs prop, and starters, they're going about 18 to 19 outs per game against the Guardians this year. So Ryan Papio at home, over 15.5 outs. Astros righty, Christian Javier, over 4.5 Ks, minus 146, hefty juice. Javier's punched out at least 5 batters in 2 of his 3 home starts. He owns a 1.99 ERA through 5 starts against the Yanks, punched out 6 batters in his matchup against them last year. Right-handers averaging just over 5 strikeouts a game against New York, with 7 of the last 10, going over 4.5 Ks. So you could take a look there on those 3 different MLB pitcher props for tonight. And just because we have a little bit of time, what? Dallas has new coordinators. All props are, what are you talking about? So, because I was talking about last year. So, it's personnel. We're still talking personnel, dude. Just saying. There's not much else to go off of. Like, you have to go off a little bit of last year. You have to go off a little bit of what happened in the offseason. You got to go off personnel. I know coordinators are different. You got to go off what you could go off of. Like, what are you going to do? Just pull things out of thin air? You got to take some numbers. I'm not taking Snell over 7.5. I don't think so. I don't think I could do it. He's so all over. No one knows their game plan, but we gamble, so we try our best. Thank you, Courtney Harden. I appreciate that. Bonus play for tomorrow, Will Dissly. So keep an eye out for Will Dissly tomorrow. It's Chargers Chiefs, in case you live under a rock. Friday Night Football. Dissly over 15.5 receiving yards. So Dissly has cashed this over in all 3 games against Kansas City, dating back to 2022. Dissly is averaging just under 21 receiving yards a game in those spots. Last year, Dissly averaged 31 receiving yards a game. The Chiefs allowed the most receiving yards per game to tight ends, allowing 67% of tight ends to go over their receiving yards prop. So if you want a bonus bet for tomorrow, over 15.5 receiving yards for Will Dissly.